At the height of the Second World War, as Allied armies fought their way across Europe and Africa, news began to reach their lines of a secret German weapons program. This program, known as Hydra, was rumored to have developed startling new technologies with the potential to decide the fate of the war. Most troubling of all, however, was the intelligence that suggested Hydra had become an increasingly rogue agency, one that no longer answered to the directives of the German High Command. Instead, the organization was united under an almost cult-like reverence for their leader, a man named Johann Schmidt, who would be immortalized in infamy as the Red Skull. Even as a young man, Schmidt's life was defined by a passion for the occult and Teutonic myth that bordered on obsession. His theories brought him into contact with the upper leadership of the Sturmabteilung, and in time, he had garnered enough political power to establish his own branch of the SS, Hydra. Despite his close ties with the Nazi regime, Schmidt rejected the state's racial doctrine, believing instead that any superior man would be artificially created and separate from all humanity that came before. This led him to focus his significant resources on developing the means to create a new race of super soldier, designed to be faster, stronger, and more agile. When the first prototype was delivered, Schmidt insisted on testing it himself. While ultimately successful, the process had horrifying side effects that earned Schmidt his gruesome nickname. The questionable success of the serum nevertheless emboldened Schmidt in his search for powerful artifacts and knowledge. In 1942, he uncovered the Tesseract, a crystalline containment vessel for an object of cosmic power. Even with only a fraction of this power harnessed, Hydra was able to develop powerful new weapons that could not only defeat the Allies, but also pave the way for Schmidt to assume control over Germany and the world. His plans, however, had drawn the notice of the Allied armies, in particular, an elite unit known as the Howling Commandos. As Hydra's bases were attacked and destroyed, Schmidt was forced to accelerate his plans and ordered the destruction of several American cities with Tesseract-powered nuclear bombs. When the Allied forces, led by the Howling Commandos, arrived at Hydra's headquarters, Schmidt fled aboard the Valkyrie, a prototype bomber through which he could carry out his vengeance and escape. Steve Rogers, known to history as Captain America, had also managed to board the aircraft, and in a desperate flight over the Atlantic Ocean, the Valkyrie crashed with both Rogers and Schmidt believed killed. There is no doubt that Johann Schmidt was tremendously cruel, devoid of mercy and common humanity. This is in part due to the effects of his serum, which elevated him, in his mind at least, above all other men. As a consequence, he placed little value on human life, willing and perhaps even eager to sacrifice the lives of his slave labor workforce or even his own soldiers. While it might be easy to dismiss Schmidt as just another megalomaniac, he was also a gifted scientist whose genius allowed him to find great truths where others saw only myth and superstition. With the end of World War II, Johann Schmidt faded into history, but his vision lived on. Like its namesake, Hydra would rise anew, growing like a parasite within the very forces that had seemingly defeated it. As for Schmidt himself, his ultimate fate remains unknown. While the official record states he was killed aboard the Valkyrie, his body was never recovered, and recent events have shed new light on his final moments. If he was in fact transported somewhere across the Nine Realms, as the only eyewitness suggests, then it's possible that the world has not seen the last of the Red Skull. In Dossier, the Templin Institute investigates the legendary figures from alternate worlds. If you have a suggestion for a future episode, let us know in the comments section, and if you'd like to support us directly, a link to our Patreon can be found in the description.